All right, so Riverside's mobile app is garbage. I want to say that. Maybe that's a little strong, but that's how I feel at the moment because it didn't work. I had a USB microphone plugged in. I didn't even do the weird, let me connect the Zoom and use it. No, just plugged in the ATR, which is what I'm using now on the Mac. Just plugged it in and had my headphones in, and everything on the phone was coming out of my actual headphones plugged into the ATR. What am I using? No, I'm using the AT2005, whatever, the Audio Technica mic. As soon as I got to the Riverside, past their little setup stuff, giving it permissions and all of that, all audio reverted back to the phone. Unplugging and replugging the microphone didn't work. I joined. It didn't give me any options for switching audio or video device. So, not great. Glad I tested it before I actually was like, oh, I really need to use this like right this second. And then it didn't work.
Sounds like Damashe's going to be using hotspot from the MacBook and iPhone if he has to join on the go.
Man, yeah, that's probably what's going to have to be the case. Hey, maybe I should try the iPad. That might be different, possibly. Yeah, there's a new iPad Mini out, man.
I did. Apple quietly released it. I have no interest in iPad Mini, but I know you are an iPad Mini user. So are you going to get a new one?
Probably not.
Okay.
I'm not actually using the one I have now.
I was hoping they would have put one of the M processors in there, but they put an A17 Pro in there.
Yeah. I mean, I at least was kind of expecting this year's chip that's in the current 16 model phones, but no, they went same chip that's in the 15 Pro Max, so that was different.
So you will get the AI more than likely. I don't know if they've announced that.
Yeah,
but it has the same processor that you will get.
Yeah, so you should get the Apple Intelligence at some point,
which apparently is garbage right now.
I don't really know. Other than summarizing notifications and messages, I don't really see it.
Genmoji and image generation, which I have no interest in.
Care about any of that at all.
And it can apparently give developers access to hook into Spotlight, which could be interesting. And I wonder if we'd be able to see some sort of like launch bar for the iPhone, which I think you and I talked about 10 years ago.
Feels like it was 10 years ago. Yeah, feels like it was about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't heard about that particular feature. I'm curious what they would do with that because I thought there was already Spotlight support through Siri. Because, occasionally you go search for something and like you start typing a few letters and you'll see a shortcut, show up or an action that can be tied to a shortcut inside of a specific app I've seen show up, which is, not a feature that I've used as far as, let's say, for example, it might give me, identify currency or whatever in Seeing AI. As an option in Spotlight when I'm searching for Seeing AI, but I don't have a shortcut set up to do that. So I kind of thought that was already a thing, but could be something different. Yeah. Seeing AI has gotten really weird the past week too.
Oh, well, that's not good because you rely on that a lot, don't you?
I have been trying to use it as much as possible for quick identification of stuff and currency, honestly, also. But yeah, it's gotten a little... apparently I needed to go back through the onboarding tutorial, even though it hasn't recently updated for me.
That's weird.
So, now every time I switch to a different channel, it has to tell me what that channel is and how it works.
And you have to mark the don't show me this button again. And then apparently that doesn't do anything because it will show it to you later when you don't want to see it.
Sure. Good times. Where's Lookout for iOS is my only question.
Man, have you thought about just running Lookout and just taking a device with just Lookout on it?
Yeah, but then it makes me have to carry two phones.
Yeah.
Kind of don't want it.
And you're already carrying enough stuff around.
Yeah.
And plus you're already carrying enough stuff around. I better say that. That was a little tight for an edit, I was thinking.
I thought about it. I was like, oh, maybe he's going to leave it just like that.
I guess I didn't say the whole word. That counts, right?
No, you didn't actually say the whole word. That's why I was like, oh, maybe he's going to leave it like that because you kind of caught yourself.
Yeah. Now I am going to because it turned into a conversation.
But yeah, I don't know. The only phone I have, I feel like that has a decent enough camera to like make it worth it too is enormous. And I really should try to sell it on eBay before it has absolutely no value, being the Pixel 8 Pro, I think is what it was. Or is.
You missed that boat.
Well, I mean, I could make some of the money back. I'm probably not going to, but possibly. That's probably why I hadn't done anything about it. And I was like, I think I missed it. Like, it's over. Had a few seconds as the knives were getting ready to come out.
Yeah. So I am talking to you through the Mackie Pro FX12 V3 into the Vocaster. And you are coming to me from the Vocaster into the Mackie Pro FX12 V3. And I have headphones plugged into the phone's jack. And I like this board, man. This board was a good investment. Just saying. I was very happy with its performance over the weekend. Even when I think someone at one of the parties dropped something on my channel 1 and bent the slider to the left a little bit, I was not happy when I found that this morning. Because I'm like, I guarantee that was not bent yesterday. But my amazing wife fixed it and everything looks good and slides right. So I can't complain too much, but yeah, this process went pretty well.
So how did you end up wiring everything up? Like how was that set up?
Part of running AV for a live event is being flexible. So and I laugh kind of because you know that song. You might not. It's called, I don't remember the name, but the lyrics are "Let's Get Physical." Does that sound familiar to you at all?
Yeah.
Okay. So we kind of rebranded that song. And if I would have had more time / patience and wouldn't have been wore out by the end of the day, I would have went to Suno.ai and recreated that song. Instead of "Let's Get Physical," it's "Let's Be Flexible," because our entire convention was very flexible this year. Because presenters didn't appear, or someone committed to doing something and that didn't get done. So we were very flexible this year. So that was the motto. We get there and we do what we need to do at first, and then we jump over to the room and we do audio, and then we get IT and shout out to Chris. Probably doesn't listen to the show, but shout out to Chris at IT at the Mill Casino because he was amazing. Kind of. We'll talk about that today because that guy is also a Hulk, just saying. So we get there and find out, oh, yeah, our overhead speakers aren't working and our AV system isn't working. I'm like, well, what? What do you mean? And they're like, yeah, it's completely down. What we have, however, is a mixer. And this
mixer, blast.
Almost. This mixer is going into some Bose giant speakers. They're $1,800 a piece, so that they're big. And there was 3 of them in line running down the room, and they sound pretty damn good. Like the only reason I know they're $1,800 is I told Mallory, I'm like, we should look and see how much these are. And she's like, I already did. And I'm like, oh, okay, how much are they? And she told me, and I'm like, yeah, probably not going to be in my budget right now, but something to strive for, and we can get something cheaper. So what they had is they had 3 Shure wireless microphones going into 3 Shure wireless receivers. And those Shure wireless receivers were running into their mixer, and then their mixer was going to the speakers. It would go to the speaker when you're sitting at the AV table or the head table, which, by the way, for Oregon, a lot of times AV gets crammed in the back of the room. Nope, I'm AV sitting up there on the board table with my mixer to my left. So I'm right up there in the front with our AV. But run their mixer into the first speaker on the far left, and then that sends audio. It sends synchronized audio from speaker 1 through speaker 3, right?
Nice.
So that's great, but their mixer only had 1 output. So my first thought was, well, how am I going to get this audio from your mixer to my Vocaster so we can get Zoom? And then they're like, well, we do have an extra input. I'm like, I do care about an input, but I don't care about an input. I need another output. So we decided to undo the XLR cables from their mixer and plug them into channels 1, 2, and 3 on the Mackie mixer that I have.
Okay.
And then we tested those, and those microphones worked great. And then I plugged in a 1/4" to XLR cable on channel 4, and that plugged into the headphone jack on the Vocaster. So I've got those 4 cables coming into those 4 channels. For the output, out of the main output, I actually bought a Y cable before I left. It's got 2 female XLR cable connectors, and this whole cable is probably 6 inches long. And that goes to a single male XLR connector. So I plugged that into the main out on the Mackie, and then I ran the cable that they had plugged into the out on their mixer, I plugged into that Y cable on my mixer. And then I had a 1/4" connector plugged into the Send One, I think is what it's called. It's that's not the right name of it, but it's the Send that. The alternative out one, I think
is what would have been like the auxiliary one or something on the Soundcraft.
Probably closer to Groups one, because you can hit a button to enable it.
Gotcha.
So I send it to that. I plug in a 1/4" to that, and then the XLR other end of that 1/4" cable into host one on the Vocaster. So are you following me with the wiring?
Yep.
Okay. So then I jumped into Zoom. And I did some tests. I called you, and then I ended up just using Mallory because I was like, hey, I wonder if Damashe's around. He might want to test. He might be busy, but I'll call him and see. So I jumped into Zoom and got audio coming through. So let me take a step back. So we tested the microphones. All 3 microphones gave us decent audio. I set those microphone sliders on the board to where they sounded pretty good. So pretty decent level. A lot lower than the Shure Beta 87A needs to be. Just saying that Shure Beta 87A needs a little bit more slider than the other microphones that we were using. And then I jumped into Zoom and I set my virtual mic, and this is important, my virtual mic in loopback as the default input for Zoom. And I'm glad I did that and didn't do the channels thing that you discovered, because let's be flexible. I was told I needed to play audio on Zoom and in person. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go add music to this virtual device in loopback and enable the ability to monitor, or I think it says mute while capturing, and I unchecked that box. And so we're connected to Zoom. All 3 microphones are going into the Vocaster. That's sending out. I set the output to the Vocaster as well. And so that was going to channel 4 on the Mackie. And when I pushed the slider up, then they were able to hear Zoom in the audio from my computer. Now, channels 1, 2, and 3, I left it configured this way so I could tell you exactly how it was, even though now I'm pretty familiar with it. On the Mackie, there are 3 buttons to the right of each channel. The top button is Submix 1, and that's the actual name of the mix that I was talking about that I ran into the Vocaster. When that's pressed, that's on. The second button down is Main Mix, and the third button down is PFL. So on channels 1, 2, and 3, I had Submix pressed and Main Mix pressed. That means audio going into those 3 channels is going out to both the Vocaster, which means Zoom's picking it up, and the in-house speakers that we were using. On channel 4, I just pressed the main mix, which means that was just going out to the in-person audio. And you don't want to press submix. It makes some very bad noises. So do not try that if you want to save your ears. And then that really worked. I mean, that's pretty much how I set up the audio. I think I overcomplicated it in my mind. I will say cell phones interfere a lot with wireless mics. There was a bit of static, and we picked up on where that was coming from. We had to tell everyone who had mics to move your phones away from the microphones. So keep that in mind. Don't leave your phone sitting on the table right next to the microphone, or we will know when you're getting messages or phone calls or TikTok notifications. But we got everything all set up and it worked. And then when they told me, hey, can you play that audio that we had you generate? when I opened music, because music, and I should have used VLC or something, or Farrago, honestly, is what I should have used, but I needed something right then. So I'm just like opening music. That played through my default output, which was the Vocaster, which meant that because it played through the Vocaster, it was only going to play through the in-house speakers. So then I went into Loopback and what?
I said not to the people in Zoom.
Gotcha. Yep. So that's why I went into the Loopback and hit and added music as a source, and then realized that for some reason I still had Reaper on there. So I deleted that because I'm like, well, I'm going to forget that I have that in there. Anyways, I added music to a source. Then I went into the options for music, unchecked the first box that says mute when capturing. And then that did not mute when it was playing through my default output, but it was also playing through the virtual device on Zoom. The last piece of very important information is do use original sound, because it sounds horrific. Well, not horrific. It's just very weird to hear people kind of applauding every 3 or 4 seconds because it's noise canceling that. So enable original sound on Zoom and you'll get a good experience. And I told people on my report that I had to do that for one of the aspects. So going to do audio for ACB Media gave me the confidence and knowledge to be able to put this together. And I live under the motto that you're probably not going to be perfect, but as long as you're looking for ways to improve, then then everything's going to be fine. 2022, I embarrassingly, I could probably pull some, honestly. I probably could pull some audio I know I could, of 2022, and maybe I should and add it to my little collection. But 2023 and 2024 were night and day. So I re-added Reaper to my virtual device, and I'm going to play this. It's about 60 seconds or so. And you're going to hear me go from the Shure Beta 807A into what last year's audio sounded like compared to what this year's audio sounded like. They were both chaired by the same person and, interestingly enough, held in the same exact room. But here's what the difference in quality sounds like. I have a real quick report. The Southwestern chapter has been meeting on the second Saturday of the month. We did meet this month. That was a new blog. We did meet this month, and we have gotten together at a local restaurant where most of the members enjoy the food, and it's been pretty good. We moved our meeting times from 1 p.m. to 12:30 p.m. Because we have to be out of the restaurant at a certain time. Sure, I can give a fairly quick district report. And also an announcement, while participating this weekend, please make sure you talk on the microphone so everyone can hear you. So Southwestern chapter, those who don't know, I serve as the president, and we have our elections coming up in November. Cassie's been working great at coming together with creating a membership engagement program calendar. So she's been sending that out to our members. So as you can hear, there was a substantial difference in the quality of the audio from 2023 to 2024. And I also say a lot, and now I'm going to say and I need to work on skills to be able to stop saying so much.
Man, that 2023 audio was compressed all to hell.
Uh-huh. It sure was. And there was no low end. It sounded like it almost honestly sounded like we held our convention on the phone.
Almost. So yeah, that was my adventure. I enjoyed it. I'm doing a wedding in November, and we're adding another level of complexity because you know me. Why stick to what we've already figured out? So in November we're doing video too. So we'll report back on how that goes. Yeah, let me share. So do you know
Owls are $1,000. I did look them up.
Do you know what kind of camera you're using?
I don't as of right now. I'm gonna meet with the couple either this week or next week and see exactly what they're looking for and see if we can get a bit about the venue that we're hosting at. I do know, thankfully, it's all indoor, so that should be nice and easier to manage than an outdoor wedding. But yeah, it'll be fun.
And you're looking at incorporating video, like recorded video, right? Not just taking pictures. You're trying to actually capture
Zoom
the video
because her grandma can't come, and so they want her grandma to be able to see and hear.
Okay, gotcha. So it's not so much about preserving the event over video; it's more or less being able to take it into Zoom.
Yeah. Oh, and I didn't tell you. It's all about being flexible. I ordered some lapel mics to give to a couple of people. The problem is the company I ordered the lapel mics from. It happens. We know that this can happen, but for some reason they only sent me a receiver. They didn't send me a transmitter or a microphone. So they are fixing it, but I'm probably going to return those lapel mics anyways. But I might keep them for the wedding. I don't know. I'm going to get one tomorrow, and we'll see what the quality of them is. Because if they sound pretty good, then I might keep them for the wedding and like clip one to the pasture, and that might be a good way to keep his audio pretty clean too.
Yeah, that could work. Because otherwise, you're going to think about renting like a shotgun mic or something.
Yeah,
a boom mic or something.
Yeah.
Could always use an iPhone
for the video.
Yeah,
I thought about that actually, especially with this amazing tripod that we got. Like, put that up maybe at one end of the facility and see how that captures a video. And I have my iPhone and Mallory's iPhone, and she has a newer phone. So I think between the two of them, can you switch between like iPhones? Like, I wonder if we could have one at each end and capture both angles. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I don't know how Zoom would handle that if you just had them both connected to the same Mac, unless you use like a video switcher.
Like Ecamm? Or Camo?
Ecamm might work. Camo would be kind of rough, I think, because you would actually be literally changing your input video device as opposed to with something like Ecamm, possibly that could actually give you the actual switching. So it's more of a smooth transitioning when you're switching cameras. It might even let you put both cameras in the same stream.
Right. That's what I'm wondering. And thankfully I have an amazing wife who kind of, I'm gonna tell you, and I'll tell her this too. I'm not hiding anything. Working with Mallory can be stressful sometimes when it comes to doing AV, because I'm like, I want to do it my way, and she's like, why are you doing it that way? And then ultimately she's like, well, maybe, or ultimately I'm like, well, maybe we should have did it your way. So I'm just thankful that she's willing to help, and she's not as excited about this as I am, but it also doesn't bore her. It's a challenge, and she likes helping solve those problems too. So I think putting her on the video aspect of it and me worrying about sound might be a good avenue, and giving her the tools she needs, like exploring Ecamm to see if I think Ecamm might not be a bad solution, because they set up a virtual camera, and then I think you connect the cameras to that virtual camera.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And I do know a lot of people are using that to manage multiple camera inputs as well. So even if it's not one, combined stream of video, you can switch the video from, one to the other so that you can get different angles.
Lighting though, man. Lighting. That's going to be a challenge.
Lighting is going to be the thing. And, what are you thinking about the sound other than maybe using this lapel mic?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm thinking lapel mics, wireless mics are going to play into this somehow, but I'm not exactly sure how that's going to go. A shotgun mic, I didn't even think about one of those, but you're looking at $1,000 for that probably, huh?
Well, I mean, you probably can find some cheaper. I was thinking of looking around, because you may be close enough to have somewhere local that you could rent one from for a couple of days, instead of just going out to buy one and not even being certain if it's the thing that's going to solve the problem.
Yeah. But there's this amazing show called Office Hours that maybe I should go back and have ChatGPT go look at some of the Office Hours episodes and see what they would recommend.
Oh man, see, I need a Python script to give me all of the transcripts out of there so I can pipe them into
a custom GPT so you can start asking. Oh man, have they created one of those? Do you know?
That is a good question. I don't know. I'm gonna go look into though. And man, look, I can't tell you how many times Tia has recommended stuff before I started running the route, before I even knew I had the route. Oh, maybe you could try this with, packing stuff, and you could do that with this. And I was like, yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. Now that seems like that might not work. And now I'm almost circled all the way back around to the stuff she started with like, oh, you should pack your toast like this. Partially one of the reasons is because I was like, there's a lot of stuff and I don't want to spend $40, $30 to $50 per tote that I need to pack chips in, because that will be a lot of totes, even if I don't buy one for every single machine, which I wouldn't do because that would be prohibitively expensive. But even buying enough to do some of the locations I have to do would be, spending upwards of $200 or $300. So the big totes from Sam's, you can get them at Home Depot, Lowe's, wherever, Costco. They have yellow tops and they're black. Using those, and because I packed these up and went to a location where the containers of chips had to go through a scanner and the containers there were too big, I had to yank all of my freaking chips out and stick them into the little, tray things that you send your belt and stuff through on. So that took me around to an original idea that Tia had of like, oh, I should make these little holders to put the chips inside of, because then I could just lift them out and keep my chips all together instead of it turned into a giant freaking mess and really upset me. What am I looking at? Oh, the Wayback Machine. Is it back up?
Yes. Yep, it is back up. At least last I heard. So, apparently, you made a good impression on your presentation last weekend.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I got told that man earned a lot of respect from me after that presentation. I'm like, well, good. I'm glad to hear that. I don't know what you said, but
hey, there's our technically podcast promoter.
What? Oh,
our technically working podcast promoter.
Our
GPT. Yeah, I mean that's what it says.
Oh, you made
GPT technically working podcast promoter. No, I didn't make this. You made this.
I made this.
And then you shared this with me. Yes, when they first started doing custom GPTs.
You should go ask it what the latest AI episode it is aware of is, because I don't remember that. I probably have access to it. I should go look and just ask it.
Hold on, I'm going to ask it. What is the most recent episode of the technically? Oh, that's not how you spell. Oh, well, of the podcast.
I think it's 36.
It says ChatGPT is generating a response.
Yes.
Oh, it's still generating a response. This is not 4.0.
It's not 4.0.
Nope. Okay. 38.
Okay. Yeah, we've gone a little further than that, ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Yep. December 10th, 2023. We're almost a year into content. Man, ChatGPT.
You got to catch up, man.
Yeah. Maybe I should feed you more content.
I hadn't made a GPT since they did 4.0. I wonder if they're different. Or have they killed those and I just missed it?
What model is this based on?
That is either going to be 3.5 or 4. Probably 4.
I just asked it what model it's based on, and it says ChatGPT is generating a response. It says, I am based on OpenAI's GPT-4 model.
Ah, okay.
Okay. I should work on this a little bit more, because I wonder if custom GPTs... Time, man. Time. And...
Oh,
I can't
explore
talk about it right
GPTs, 'cause
now,
was
but I have a
looking-
feeling time is not going to free up anytime soon for me. So we'll see. But hey, I can now do things like this.
Let's see. What is it called? Office hours. Let's see if they have a custom GPT.
Office hours. Oh, you're going to look them up and see if they have a custom GPT. Did it
Yeah.
echo for you?
There's some reverb. It's not really echoey.
Yeah, some reverb right now. Yeah. Here's a funny thing. I was playing with the effects on the board and forgot that I was playing with the effects on the board. And when we got everything all connected, all of a sudden it kept echoing everything. And we're like, what is going on? Like, I'm all checking all the cables, everything. Chris is making sure nothing's wrong on their end with the speakers. And then I remembered that effects were on.
Man.
I wonder if I can ask regular ChatGPT to search the web and tell
I
me
know what I'm gonna do.
is a office hours GPT for the office hours.global show. And we'll see what it tells me. It's
Okay.
searching the web.
Okay, you're doing that. Let's see. Let me change my. Okay, I'm on 4.0. Give me a different model. There we go. 01. Now let's see if E1 can do this. Can you, using the YouTube transcript from...
Nope, it's not finding any.
All right, so we're going to see if GPT... What am I using now? I forgot already.
01
preview.
Yeah.
We're going to see if it can create its own, if it can locate the channel for me on YouTube and then create me a custom GPT that'll allow me to search the contents of their transcripts. I mean, I fully don't expect this to work, but
Right.
I'm going to see what it'll do. You thought for way longer than 4 seconds. Why can't you just make the custom GPT for me? Why do I have to do it?
Oh, it told you have to.
Oh, then it tells me to collect the transcripts first, pre-process the data.
What good are you, GPT, if you can't collect them for me?
Develop a user interface. That's just making me the whole app.
Oh, is it doing that? Or is it telling you what to do?
No, it's telling me what to do.
Oh. So how did you get there? Did you go to 01 Mini?
No, it just says 01 preview with better reasoning. Not 01 mini.
Hold on. Yep, I found it. I hit enter on more models and that popped up. 01 preview, advanced reasoning. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? How many R's are in strawberry? Is a hot dog a sandwich? Create a puzzle for me to solve. Interesting. So I reinstalled Facebook last week. That was an ordeal.
You reset up Facebook?
Well, I just reinstalled it on my phone. I never deactivated or anything. So I just had to reinstall it and sign in. And I did Facebook Messenger as well. Well, Facebook Messenger gave me Meta AI. And Meta AI, when you're having a voice conversation with it, will let you interrupt it. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Does that not work in WhatsApp also, or no?
It does. I don't know if you can do voice conversations with it in WhatsApp. I have not looked that much, but you can use Meta AI. I think you can do voice conversations with it in WhatsApp. See, now Damashe grabbed his phone. He's going to go open WhatsApp and see if he can do it.
No, I'm actually rating the experience in Riverside in their app because it was still on the screen. Confused face, missing features. This is my problem.
Upload complete. How's your studio session? What went wrong? Thumbs up, button, thumbs down, movie camera, confused, monkey, turtle, confused, anything want to add, send feedback, thing, button, anything want to add, text field, double tap to edit, insertion point edit.
Seems logical that a USB audio device plugged into an iPhone 15 Pro Max should work as an input, especially considering it's a USB microphone, period. Also should allow output to be directed over USB-C, Very poor experience if you're a voiceover user.
Insert seems logical for the USB audio device plugged into an iPhone.
There we go. Your mic can tell you how rarely I give feedback to people if he leaves this in. Where's the send button? There we go. Send feedback. All right. So you were going to ask me about using group navigation because I said I was going to switch to that when we was talking one day.
Using what navigation?
Grouped versus standard. What the hell are they called?
Yes, group versus flat navigation on iOS. Because I made a kind of offhanded comment about, hey, yeah, I've switched over to group navigation. I'm really liking it. And you had, while we were on the phone, switched your phone over to group navigation. So what are your thoughts after probably 4 or 5 days with it?
It is absolutely improved from where it was when they first introduced it. What was that? iOS 16, maybe?
It might have been 15, but I think it was 16.
Wait, what are we on now? 15?
18?
Oh, jeez, yeah. 16, 15, possibly. I don't know. It's been a while. But it's better. Definitely better. I did have one problem with an app, but I think it was my phone being weird after having done an update because I've been noticing little sporadic glitches here and there with stuff. But I pretty much stuck with it up until yesterday when I was trying to navigate the Sam's Club app, and it was acting really stupid, and I turned it off, and I hadn't turned it back on since. But I do miss it because now things are not behaving the way that I expect them to.
So you can add navigation style to your rotor and switch between flat and group if you want.
Yeah, that's what I did when I was on the phone with you.
Oh,
it's
okay.
Just, yeah, that's been on my rotor since they introduced it because I will occasionally revisit it. It just has been a while since I revisited it. And your comment made me go turn it back on. And I was like, oh, this has gotten much better. Mail is a little easier to navigate.
What the hell?
What happened?
Okay, so I have this weird issue, and it's probably because I did something in command line I shouldn't have done. And now in my Finder under users, I have Mallory's user, my user, and a user that says root. Okay, that should not be there. In the root user, all you see is libraries and then app content and then Logi, whatever, for Logitech's keyboard stuff. Okay. I asked ChatGPT 4.0 or 1, the 1 beta, why would I have a root user in my users directory in Finder? It comes back and tells me your request is flagged as potentially violating our usage policies. Please try again with a different request.
Are you serious?
Right?
Okay, hold on. Let me go users. Let's make sure it's not a change in Mac OS 15, whatever. Nope. Only see my folder in shared.
Yeah. I probably enabled root or something. The GPT 4.0 told me how to disable it. I just need to go through those steps. And it told me where to go to get to the utility to disable the root user so it's no longer showing up in Finder, which is fine. And I'm okay. But why would you tell me that is violating your terms of use? And GPT.
Oh, no, I'm going to ask. Because perhaps they think that you're trying to dig into the internals and figure out how it reasons. Because apparently people have been getting wrist slapped or suspended for trying to poke at the internals of the new reasoning model. Like OpenAI is really not. Okay, I need to go restart my Mac Mini because I can't connect to it over RAM. So here's a side effect of doing too much stuff in the terminal. I don't know what I did, but ever since I upgraded to Mac OS 15, my terminal hasn't been loading up properly on this MacBook Air. And I hadn't done anything about it because I was like, okay, whatever, I'll fix it. It's probably something in my bash profile file or something I need to comment out. I was like, I really don't feel like commenting all that stuff out just to figure out which one is the issue. So I went and switched my user to Apple's bash because I did have it pointed at the homebrew install bash because Apple's no longer updating bash. A thing that most people listening don't really care about. But the whole point is, like, I did that, I restarted the computer, and then now the terminal was coming up right. Okay, cool. I'll figure out at some point what's not working and all of that. But one side effect I just had is by opening terminal, when you said terminal, I opened terminal. I was like, wait, I just pinged apple.com because something was wrong with the internet when I got up this morning. It's like, oh, no, I was on the Mac Mini in there with the keyboard at the Mac Mini. Because that's right, RAM hasn't been working. And I hadn't wanted to restart the Mini because its uptime has been amazing. Especially since I figured out that hard drive was disconnected. It's been great.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, how has Spectrum been treating you?
Well, I don't know what happened this morning, but apparently it was down. I just unplugged and replugged the modem and everything came back up fine. I should probably investigate how to connect to their modem directly and whatever the default login info is or login info is and go take a poke around their actual modem because I don't know what it's doing. It's just, I threw the Unify router behind it. It's like, all right, that'll protect the internal network. I'm not worried about their box over there, but I should go take a look. I have gotten a couple of reports here and there from the Unify router that Spectrum's internet was down and then that it was back up when it came back up. However, I don't necessarily know how accurate those reports are because usually I would miss one or the other. So by the time I saw them, it was well after the fact. So I couldn't test to be like, oh, it's down. Let me see what's going on with it. And also, of course, if I'm not on the network, it can't send me a notification that it's down, I don't think. Because it wouldn't have any internet to send this notification. At least I think that's how that works. Hold on. Let me ask GPT.
See, we don't know anything anymore. We just ask GPT.
No, I legit have never thought about the internet down notification. Oh, no, I should. Wait, what did you ask it? Why would I have a root folder and users directory on Mac OS 15? See if it tells me the same thing. Is that close enough to what you wrote?
Yeah.
And it shouldn't take that long to generate a response.
It might be answering you because I reworded it and it gave me the answer. Did it? You've been hacked. Restart the computer.
I'm blaming it on the Logitech software.
Yeah.
It had been improperly coded or something, and they did that so that they could have the privilege they needed. They made a root folder. At least that's the answer I got. Hold on. I will copy the answer I got and send it to you.
It's really convenient to use that copy button. Just saying now.
Especially since it's now labeled.
Right.
Know which one you're clicking. Thanks, GPT.
Yes. Instead of having to guess. Ooh, my LinkedIn profile views has gone up by 2. It was 17 last week. It's 19 this week.
Okay. There's the answer I got back.
Oh, I didn't even think about checking to see who created it. Seek professional advice. I like that last one.
Yeah, see, my GPT is more professional than yours. Oh, man. Are we going to end up with those situations as we're able to run models more locally on our devices and people start tweaking them like, man, yeah, so, my llama is better than your llama.
Hashtag better llama. I wonder if it'll let me delete. I'm not going to fuck with it. No.
I wouldn't try to delete it like that. I would actually see. Actually, it might be good to see who created it.
Let's see. Anyways, I'll let people know what I find out. I think it's almost bedtime, man.
It is. There's one more thing. Hold on. We'll throw this in so we can follow up on it. So one thing that I'm going to start working on here over the coming couple of weeks is going to be putting together a IVR system for a small business. And I asked you about this earlier this week, or I mentioned this to you earlier this week. I think you were already either at convention or on your way there to convention, but it just came up. So I was like, we'll chat about it on the show because I kind of want your thoughts. I know that you have worked on this more recently than I have, and probably have been looking at the tools definitely more recently than I have, other than VoIP.ms. What are some options? My thought was to go with VoIP.ms and just build out a very simple interface where person calls a number, they're presented with a menu of options, which essentially would be dial, X for this person, dial Y for that person, dial Z for that person. Or maybe just do it with actual extensions. So, dial 303. But thinking about it, like one is VoIP.ms, you think the best way to go with that? And two, what are the upsides and downsides of doing, say, the single button, like press 1 to get to Michael, press 2 to get to Damashe, versus using actual extensions for sub-users?
So pressing 1 or pressing 2 is going to either send them to a ring group or an extension. So ultimately, it really comes down to optics of how you want the experience to be for the person dialing the number. And in a lot of cases, hitting single digits to redirect to either a ring group, which that will ring multiple extensions or phone numbers at the same time, or to an extension for, say, I think it's easier to just press one number to do that than to enter an extension. But
Yeah.
we all know that if you know the extension of the party you're calling, please enter it now or whatever. You're used to hearing that. So you could set up your IVR to let people enter the person's direct extension and keep the 1, 2, 3. Because if you do XYZ, that means it's all 9. See. Anyways, so I think VoIP.ms would work well for what it sounds like you're needing for that for right now. I think moving to a hosted PBX system, and I'm thinking Incredible PBX, which is based on Asterisk, would be more appropriate if, and you can do this with VoIP.ms, but if you have secretary who needs to call manager from her soft phone and doesn't want to actually dial the phone number, like you want to do that for free because those internal calls would be free and you wouldn't have to have someone call the external number to get an internal extension. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So Incredible PBX will give you a lot more apps and functionality than what VoIP.ms will give you, but it comes with the additional complexity of making sure that your server is up to date and making sure that everything's patched and that everything's connected and the firewall permissions are given and no one is remotely connecting to your server in order to make phone calls based on your dime. But if you want that full PBX feeling, then either VoIP.ms or Incredible PBX would be good. Where I would go to look to see if you need the features is Nerdvittles, Vittles, I think is how you spell it. And that is Ward's blog. And I don't know Ward's last name, but he's been around since 2006, 2007, blogging on that blog. And he tries to post every week. And that's where I go whenever I just want to do some PBX nerd reading, just to see what's possible. And honestly, if that's the avenue you want to go, you could run a PBX from a Raspberry Pi at your home. Do you want to manage that? I don't know, but that is an option for you.
No, it's not mine. I'm not running it out of my house. Taking up one of my precious Raspberry Pis
that you're not using.
Yeah, well, time, man. You got to have time to
Yes.
program the Pi. It just didn't work out of the box. You just take it out and plug it in. Like, oh, there's the thing.
But
I almost went down the Matter route that way too by buying one of those boxes, and then not Matter. Geez, what's it called? Not Home Assistant, the Home Assistant route. Until I realized that while there are ways to tie the two ecosystems together, they're meant to work independently, not as like an additional. I was looking at Home Assistant before doing a little bit more research, sort of like HomeBridge, where it's like, oh, I can bring stuff in from outside of the Apple ecosystem into HomeKit, along with some extra features. And that's not what it is. Home Assistant is this entirely own separate smart home ecosystem. And I was like, I don't feel like learning that or maintaining that, and being responsible for that, because it's like, oh, I asked the assistant, which is not a Siri or anything else, I asked the Home Assistant to do a thing, and it didn't work. And I gotta go look at, I don't know, text files, JSON files or something to figure out where somebody stick a comment that wasn't supposed to be. It's not talking to the thing. Anyway.
Incredible PBX would also be good if you want to plug into third-party services. So I think just to get the project that you were kind of talking to me about, VoIP.ms would be a sufficient tool to get started on. And when you start hearing complaint / pain point / why can't we do this, then that's when you might need to explore Incredible PBX. Because I'm thinking like, are they going to want to be able to pick up a desk phone? Because that's kind of important. Or are they fine with just soft phones? And when they pick up that desk phone or when they open that soft phone, do they want to call and get the weather? Probably not, because they can do all that on their phone. So do they want to get the news? Probably not, because then they don't have to listen to the festival TT. That thing is horrible. Just saying. But there might be some solutions to get OpenAI's TTS and or ChatGPT connected to it. And I have not looked, and that could be fun. But again, that's a tinker, not a
that could be a
project.
Yeah, that could be a technically working project, though. We could tinker with that and see how that goes.
Yeah. We could see if it could generate AI voices for the transcript if you don't want to hear our voices, and then you can just...
I mean, we're not gonna take it that far because it'd be expensive. I was just thinking we could build that and see what could we integrate, though. That could be a project, and we will let Tip Jar supporters have the number so that they can call in and help us test it when we actually start working on this.
There we go.
We'll have to see if Mike's thing goes the way we were thinking it's going to go, for one thing, though, because that is going to take some time, and probably get a few other things behind us, including the holidays, maybe, before we start tinkering with that. But that's interesting.
But if you'd be interested in tinkering with that too, support us on the tip jar and let us know via email or social, because
yeah. Mm-hmm. And it'll be a learning experience, right? Because this is what we do. So many people who have listened to the show that have been with us since the DM series especially will know that me and Michael have been tinkering around with audio setups for the exact purpose of what he did this weekend. He's done it a few times before now, but you have to get out there and do it in the real world a lot of times to figure out what the issues are going to be, or figure out what equipment you need, right? Because we've also been down the path of buying some equipment that it turns out we're never going to use that, thing right there that we bought. Like it's not going to be used at all. Didn't find a use case for it. But I think Michael was able to, at least from what I heard audio wise, put on a pretty good, I could hear some of the kind of background, space of the room, but you were definitely more present in the audio.
And I wanted that background space of the room though, too, because you want people on Zoom to feel like they're not
there.
Yeah. They're not going to be there, but
yeah, but like they're a part of the ambiance. Yeah. There you go.
Yep. And the people on Zoom came in super clear. Same levels. Levels were important. I was riding those sliders a bit, that's for sure. Mallory asked me a time or two, what are you doing? I'm like, turning this volume down a little bit. It's a little bit too loud. That person's a little too close to the microphone.
That person's really loud right now.
Yes.
You're eating the microphone.
Yep. Which is good because we tell them to, but you don't need to swallow the microphone.
Yeah. Usually what I tell people is put your index finger on your bottom lip, put your middle finger next to it,
And that's how
horizontal.
far the mic should be.
And that's how far the mic should be from your face.
Yep. It did remind me that I need to buy like a pack of 20
filters?
yes, pop filters. Because when I picked up their mic, I'm like, oh, they have these nice little pop filters on here. My wireless mics I brought don't have those. Yep, we're going to use theirs.
Yeah. One, you want the pop filters to prevent the plosives of people, because for some reason people feel like they need to get even closer to the mic when they say, perhaps what we should do is, it's like, did you really have to just...
Yeah.
But the other reason you want like a pack of 20 is because you don't know who spits when they talk.
Dirty.
That's one of those things you don't think about until you're actually in the moment and you're like, crap, I knew I forgot something. I knew I was forgetting something. The whole time I knew there was something I wasn't thinking about. It was some damn pop filters. Oh, crap. And they're only $6 on Amazon.
So we took the Rode boom arm with me because I still needed to solve that problem and I didn't get my lapel mics. So I took the Rode boom arm, I put it in front of the president and over her laptop. And then their microphones are bigger than the Shure Beta 87A. So I didn't have a thing that I could just twist on to the end of the boom microphone to fit their microphones in there. So my mind went rubber bands. IT went, we have a replacement for that. So
rubber bands, man. Oh.
That's where my mind went at first. I'm like, well, I wonder if we could go get some rubber bands and tie this up on the boom arm. And yeah, I'm glad they had the thing. The problem is when Chris, and we're calling him Hulk now, twisted on their part. So there's two screws on there. There's one that goes inside the part that holds the microphone. And then there's one that you screw that onto this other screw on the boom arm and you stop at this flat plate, right? And somehow he got their internal thing stuck on the boom arm. And so we ended up just taking the inside of my mic holder. I don't know the actual name of that part. We took the inside of mine out and swapped that into theirs, and then I just screwed my mic holder onto theirs, so that piece is kind of just permanently stuck on the road right now.
Yeah, your 3/4, whatever it is, to 5/8 or 5/8 to 3/4 adapter.
Yep.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I've done that before too. You need a pair of pliers.
Yeah. Yeah, well, maintenance couldn't get it off either because we're like, well, can you fix this? And she's like, I don't want to scratch it up. I'm like, yeah, I'll just call Rode and see if they have a replacement part I can get if necessary, or try to get it off there. I'm not worried about scratches because it's not like that part's on video. So
yeah, you just need a pair. If it's the piece, so your mic clip had like a little metal piece in it. You untwisted that to take it out because it adapts to size so it fits the end of the boom arm, right?
Yep.
Okay. So one, most things you're going to mount to it are going to need that adapter anyway. So having it stuck is not a big deal. Two, if you're like me and you really don't care about the scratches, get you a good pair of grip pliers. And it might take a little elbow grease, but it'll come off. I've done it to myself before too.
Okay. We just called him Hulk and we're like, he didn't use pliers. You don't have to twist it very tight to get
So that's the thing. I didn't use pliers to get it on. I needed pliers to get it off.
Yep. So.
Because what happens and he probably did the same thing I would have done and that you probably would have done too, is if you're twisting one of the better mic clips, you're going to use the clip, even though you probably technically shouldn't, but you're going to use the clip to tighten it up. Mm-hmm. And then if it's not perfectly centered the way you want it, you're going to reach back there and twist that little plate piece to bring it forward so it locks in place. And at that point, you may or may not be able to you can get your mic clip off. But you might not get the little adapter piece off unless you get some pliers.
Not a huge deal. Not the end of the world for sure.
No, because you gotta put your mic on there. You're going to have to twist it onto one of those anyway. It's just, you're twisting the mic directly onto the adapter instead of twisting the adapter onto the boom arm. So,
but thank you, Rode. Appreciate it.
But grip pliers are a good thing to have. Anyway, get a nice pair on Amazon.
I want an attachment, Rode, that lets me strap the boom arm together.
So you want to know what you need for that?
What's that? Rubber bands?
Well, I mean, if you got something that are strong enough, rubber bands will work. I was thinking one of those, what do you call them? They're not called flex cuffs, but you know the things I'm talking about, though?
I think so. Possibly where it would just slide onto it.
What did you call these things? Jeez. The cable tie things, like the ones that you stick through the little hole, and as you pull them, they tighten up.
Zip ties?
There you go. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for. Zip ties. But they have some that you can remove, like they're not stuck. So you
just hit like a little lever.
Yeah, and you can slide it back out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need one. You need one of those.
Yeah. Yeah. I do. Because I set my boom arm on the table and forgot
then it just sprung out.
Jump opening, and Mallory was sitting right there and it whacked her. Glad it happened at the end of the meeting, not at the beginning. Oh.
Yeah.
So, it is 10:30 your time. Time for bed almost. I still have more stuff to do, like laundry.
Yeah. I actually got some laundry I need to throw in there too. So, goodness. So, I will, before we wrap up, I'll let everybody know what I was attempting to do and while I had to send that report to Riverside. So, here was my idea. I was like, there are times where I may want to record something, or like today I could have, been at Brookwood and like, I need to record the show with Mike. Well, instead of me telling Mike, man, you can't record, which is what happened the last time, actually, why we didn't record. I should just keep my microphone in my laptop bag and I have my phone with me. Get a USB cable. The only thing I'm missing is like something to clamp on somewhere in the van. I got to find that solution to put the mic up. I was like, I could just go sit in the van and record the show. Audio might not be spectacular, but honestly, I don't think my audio is spectacular in the room I'm in right now anyway. So I was testing because I was like, I should try this before I actually try to get out in the van somewhere on the road with the phone to try to record in the Riverside app and make sure it works. And it didn't work.
Zoom,
Very
sir.
disappointed.
I think we're going to have to fall back on Zoom.
Man, Zoom's audio is fucking horrible.
With original sound, it's not horrible. Just saying. Did you listen to any of that recording I forwarded you yesterday?
I didn't know you forwarded me a recording yesterday. Hold on.
Maybe I didn't forward it to you. I thought I forwarded. No, I texted you a recording and a passcode.
Did you? Oh, hold on. I missed that because I saw this other message that you sent me.
Which one? I think I texted it to you. Now I'm going to look to make sure.
This message, the last message I saw says navigation certification.
It says what?
Oh, okay. And before that, I see the. Okay. So I do see that, but I didn't see it because I saw your last message to me.
Navigation certification. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that would be a good opportunity for you to hear the combination of original sound and the audio setup that we had, because that's a recording that we had for one of the events this weekend. It's not horrible. Not horrible.
So my last question is there a bigger version of the mixer that you currently have that maybe has more routable outputs?
Possibly. I have not checked for outputs. And that might be worth exploring. This one's kind of perfect size right now. It's about the width of my desk, and I have it sitting sideways, so the sliders are facing me. That sounds weird. Anyways, so the sliders are closest to me, and the knobs are closest to the wall on my left side, so it's not straight like you normally would have a mixer.
So you're sliding sliders from left to right.
Yes. Not
okay, gotcha.
Up and down. And so this fits on my desk just perfect. It's slightly wider than than I have space on my desk for. I might be able to pull one of these drawers out, and that'll give me a little bit of room.
because you got those fancy drawer shelf things on the back of yours. Yeah.
Yeah. So pros and cons. That's nice because you can hide stuff in them. It's negative because it takes up space. But I think they do have a 16-channel version, which might give me one more out, which is fine. This one does have something called Control Room Out. And I believe one of these knobs here will let me adjust the control room, and that would work more like the aux did on the Soundcraft, because you adjust the knob to the control room and then that sends that audio out there. So I think technically I could send audio to 3 different destinations.
Okay. That's something to explore, because that would solve, I don't see it being a problem right this second, and I also don't know how they work, but that could be a solution for sending a separate routable channel of audio either to a backup recording location or to, more importantly, thinking about the what do you call them, the adaptive hearing devices.
ALD, assisted listening devices.
Yeah
That I think we use the control room for ALD, but I'm not sure, and that's a good point. The other thing with this mixer is it does have a USB interface. It does send one stereo stream of audio over USB, and I did not set that up, and I want to play with that a little bit. But what is nice is you can control what that stereo. So I'd have to do the opposite of what I did for the convention, because that stereo is going to be the main out. So you wouldn't want Zoom to go out the main out. You would need to set that up to go to the submix, and then your microphones would go to the main out. And so it's just the opposite of what I did for the current setup.
Okay. So wait, where's the main out come out of now, since it's not connected to USB?
There's XLR and 1/4 inch on the top right of it that you can send audio out of, and that's the main out.
Gotcha.
And
but
that
if you plug
is
it up,
only the audio with the main button pressed on that channel.
Yeah. Gotcha. So also, if you connect it over USB, then it'll also send that same main mix back to USB, which does let you cut out what goes into main over USB though. So that's pretty slick. I wonder if you plugged it in. Have you tried plugging it in USB yet and taking a peek either in Reaper or Loopback to see if it exposes any of its channels for USB return? Yeah,
I have not. Nope. But it looks like according to the documentation, you only get that stereo return from the main.
So it's 2 in, 2 out.
Yep.
But that's not nice.
Yeah. But now I got cords all over my desk, and Mallory's like, "What would be a better quality audio interface for than the Vocaster?" I'm like, "Well, I mean, there's this thing called the PreSonus, but it's a couple $100. Let's just stick with what we have right now." So,
yeah, I would stick with it at least until it stops working.
Yep. I did take a spare Vocaster with me though, because I'm like, if something gives out, it's going to be the Vocaster. It's the oldest thing in the chain.
And here's the other thing: like, you don't, as far as I can think of, need a particularly overly complicated audio interface at this point, since you got the mixer. So even something like the Evo, Evo 4, maybe?
Yeah. Yep.
Somewhere down in that price range will probably be reasonable. For sure.
Well, sir, tip jar subscribers, we really appreciate you. And we appreciate the 167 of you who downloaded last week's episode. Those numbers are slowly but steadily growing.
I don't know. There's a drop in from the last time I knew what the numbers were for a download. So, what are you people doing?
Yeah, but remember
the show is back on.
The last time we talked about numbers, Michael just posted direct MP3 on Mastodon. So anyone who's like, "What's this link?" hit enter, and all of a sudden it downloaded and counts as a download for us. So we did discover that inflated the numbers. I think we hit like 270 on that one.
Forgot about that one. Well, anyway, keep hitting the links in the Mastodon. He's at Payon, PAYOWN at, wait, where are you? Unmute.community.
Technically dragonscave.space. Unmute.community will redirect you over there, though.
Yeah, hold on. Let me do the right one, because He's Payon, Payown at Dragon's Cave.
Yes.
Dot space.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that's Dragon with an S, CAVE dot space is where he is. I am Damashe at unmute.community. I think that's, that's right. Hold on. Trying to make sure I was getting that domain right. It's kind of screwed me up. Hold on.
Yeah. Dragon's Cave.
Yeah. I mean, I got it now. We're good. I realized when I said it, like, wait, it may sound as kind of slightly, wait, did you say Dragon's Cape?
Yeah. I had to spell it character by character when I first heard about it. What are they saying? Because VoiceOver just runs it all together.
Yeah, it sounds like Dragon's Cape. Like, oh, there's a dragon with a cape. All right, good. I'm Damashe, Damashe at unmute.community. And you can always interact with the hashtag technically working. Please capitalize the T and the W. We appreciate it. Thanks again to all of you who listen. Share the show with a friend. Interesting things coming up for sure. And there's one more thing. Oh, feedback at technicallyworking.show. I knew there was something I was forgetting that you could do. You can email us using the email address feedback at technicallyworking.show. And I better go renew that domain.
And that is TW81, even though Riverside says 80 here.